Hello, this is Caleb with Garvin Sewer Service. I'm at 211 E Simpson Street. We're doing a scope inspection post-cleaning through the sewer. The access is through a pool toilet. The ones in the walls do not look like they're going to be what we need. One's for a urinal and one may be a sewer stack, but it's painted over and most of the time it's not accessible. Pool toilet, the good advantageous part about doing it from the toilet in the ladies' room is that we're cleaning the top of the line all the way down. I have ran 120 feet. The distance on my lower left-hand side of the screen to the 145 feet. We are at the alley. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this video because it's extremely hard to get the camera head all the way out there due to the amount of turns we have and the distance. And so I turned the water on and it took me quite some time to push inch by inch to get out here. So I'm going to clean again after this video with some more footage. I'm not going to actually add any price onto that. I'm just going to do that for free. So just go ahead and get you cleaned out. So we're going to slowly start pulling back. The water's been off for a minute, but we might want to let it kind of still dissipate a little bit. I did have a lot of facilities running just to get me out here. So it looks like we got cast iron all the way through. I want to double check that. It was hard to tell. Yeah, this is cast. And so I've located this. This kind of goes to the men's restroom, and then it heads out going north underneath the two rooms, then heads out going to the garage, and then goes underneath the garage, and then hits the alleyway. There I can see where the city had located the entrance. Again, at the cobweb, that'll get knocked out whenever I clean this line the last 20 feet. 25, 30 feet, actually. So, line's pretty hard to run just because of the amount of turns and the fact that we're cast. The grittiness you see on the pipes is scale. That's mineralization that's built up. That's to be expected with cast iron. This section looks to be relatively good. The closer we get, the more scaled up we get. Scale kind of compounds itself a little more when the line's not being used for some time. So running the line and then we'll clean it one more time will help out with a little bit of that scale. Best way to get scale is through a descaler service, which is a separate machine with different bits on it, specifically designed for it. But this is relatively normal. There's nothing to be concerned about. It's not going to cause you problems. When I located it out in between the garage and the building that I'm in, it was about 6 feet deep. It would be very nice to have some sort of outside clean out, somewhere in between, halfway through this line, so we can go both ways. That way, if there's any problem in the future, that they could clean it without having to pull a toilet, because it was pretty difficult. Not necessary, but it does make the job harder and maybe less of an effective cleaning. But that's just something that's kind of just mentioned that I always recommend having an access point somewhere in the middle when we're this far. Just for future reference, since this line is entirely of cast, we do want to refrain from flushing anything but toilet paper, so no quote-unquote flushable wipes, definitely no feminine hygiene products, things like that. So that it'll get caught up in the cast. Much less any pipe, but specifically the cast will cause us some heartache if they are flushing stuff not supposed to. I advise against low-flow toilets, as well as the pressure-assisted toilet. That's the toilet with the motor in the back. If you ever replace the toilets, because those don't evacuate solids and paper the same way. And I was just checking that piece out. It just looks like some scale buildup. Here in a bit, we do have a belly. So from 38 feet to 56 feet, we have an 18, maybe round up to 20 foot of a sag in the line. That is where we had toilet paper and debris that had been caught up before the tenants had left. And that, if you're going to have a backup, is going to happen in that spot. So we'll go ahead and send that. I'll send that information off to the excavation team. The depth of that is it was jumping between 4'9" and 4'11" on both ends of the belly. So right at almost 5 feet deep, and we're in the beginning of it is in the room just north of the bathrooms, and then like not like the kitchen area, but just the open room, and then it ends next to some cabinetry in the next room on the northeast side of the building. I do have tape down, and I'll upload those pictures to the job. We are about to experience that belly, the end of it, coming up right now. Okay, my distance coming back might not be exactly accurate. I did double check it before we start. I have recorded 38 feet to 55. It's an 18 to 20 foot belly, and as you see, we're completely underwater, so I can't see. I ran the line once with lots of water running, so any paper and sewage is probably knocked out. This is just that mineralization, that scale I was telling you about. That's what you're seeing flaking around. We will run this one more time to get the extra distance. I have to use 3-inch blades to a pulled toilet. That's kind of why I mentioned that outside access earlier. So right here, it's saying 38 feet. We got good pipe. From here on back, we're back to cast. That's just kind of scaled up. So other than the scale, you know, the drain does show some signs of age, albeit it's fairly good for the age of it. Just that section had either started to rot on the bottom or it's just sagged due to gravity over time. So that section is prone to a backup. We will recommend getting that replaced. Other than that, you know, the line looks to be in good condition. No standing water anywhere else. Standing water in cast iron where that belly is will kind of push the rot process a little faster. So it is it is a very smart idea to go ahead and get that fixed. So right here, quite a bit of scale. This is the most scale you're going to see is closer to the facilities. Again, we'll run it one more time, as well as run way more water. And whenever the line gets used more consistently, it'll definitely be in a better shape. If there's any other questions referring to this job, please refer to the invoice summary. There'll be a text out version of my work, what I've done, what I've discovered, as well as this video link. If there's still more questions pertaining to the work, feel free to give Garvin Sewer Service a call. My name is Caleb. Thank you for your time.